Hello everybody. In the next two lectures we will talk about different levels of text analysis. Let's look at an example of a text. This is from the website of the Czech National Bank, and it's at the end of a quiz on financial literacy. This is the educational website, and after you read all pieces of advice that you give you or offer, that the bank offer, some kind of educational material, at the end you should do your own evaluation by filling a quiz. And at the end of the quiz there is an evaluation of your scores, how many points you get, and what is your knowledge of financial literacy. And there are three levels of or three different types of evaluation depending on your score. So if you get between 31 and 40 points, you are beginner, and the evaluation is that the beginner has mastered basic concepts and learned how to handle a budget, has discovered the first steps of financial world. Second level is for people who got more than 40 points and less than 50. And the third level is for people who got less than or more than 51 and more than 50 and less than 60. So it means maximum. So there are these verbal evaluation of readers, of people who participated or who used the website, the educational, the financial literacy education. So this is an example of a text, and we can analyze it for various reasons. For example, we would like to know the discourse of financial literacy, or we would like to know what type of what is the character of text used at various websites, or etc. And what we can do? First, we can explore reading. As you know, we can say that something is a text only when we are able, or we know someone able to read it. So the first approach is to look at reading. Is anybody able to read it? Can anybody to read it? Or how do different readers understand the text? For example, there is a term, financial world. So what does the term financial world mean for educated or uneducated person? Because financial world, what does it mean? It's not like something that like a book or water or a house. We know what is a book. Everybody knows it. But financial world, what does it mean? Is a world of bankers, or is a world of everyone, or what does it mean? So this is the first question we can ask, or an example of a question we can ask, how different readers understand terms that are included. There are financial world and a world of finance. So these are similar terms, and if everybody understand it in the same manner, or understand it at all, another question can be, what does the term personal finance mean for a parent, for a member of a household, for a dependent. Because if your money, if you share your money with other members of your family, so personal finance doesn't have meaning for you because you don't have any personal finance. Or you can have some finance that you hide, some money you hide from the rest of the household. So this is your personal, this is your money, this is your personal finance. And expert in the evaluation, in the text we studied, expert has personal finance securely under control. So it means that it's the money someone or member of a family hides from the rest. It means that this money he or she has securely under control. Or what does it mean, personal? Does it mean family finances? Or this is also a question for exploration of reading. So how different people with different social status, if we are in the field of sociology, of social science, we can ask how people with different status of different social position understand or can read the evaluation. The third example of this exploration can be a question: is the evaluation meaningful for a billionaire or a homeless person? This is also one question for whom the evaluation is designed for. Because if I'm a billionaire and I would like to have my finance under control, securely under control, would be this quiz or this financial education suitable for me? I would say no, because if I'm a millionaire, I hire somebody or I buy a service, some financial counselors or some company that manage my finances. I cannot do it myself. So this is not for people who have a lot of money. The same holds true for homeless people, for people with just necessary resources for their living. They don't need to have their personal finances securely under control. They just spend what they get. So if they get some money from the state or from other people, if they are beggars, so they get some money from people on the street. So they spend them for their own life, for buying food, for buying drinking, etc., for buying smoking, for paying a shelter. So the first bunch of questions or field of questions concerns reading, exploring reading, how different people read the text, and how, if we can say that the text is same for everybody or suitable for everyone. The second field of questioning or field of exploration is exploration of the text itself. So we don't look at readers, at people who use the text, but we read at the text itself, on verbal abstraction that we can abstract from the material embodiment. And we can look for three types of things in the text. First, we can look at words. So what metaphors, choice of word, frequency, collocation, etc. So we can look at for beginners, there is word mastered. He mastered basic concept and learn how to budget, how to handle a budget. So mastering is a metaphor. It's not that the basic concepts are mastered. So they are learned, they know about it. So, but there is the metaphor of some mastery, some level of competence rather than learning something. There are world of traps. The financial world is full of traps, or there are traps of financial world. We can count frequency of the word, and we can see the budget. There are 2 times budget, the word budget. Financial, there is finances, financial. So these are frequencies, how some words are relatively frequent or relatively infrequent. We can look at collocation, that financial is related to world of finance, financial world. So this is also a way what we can observe which word co-occur together. Choice of word. And the metaphors also is that a banknote slips through his fingers. It's a metaphoric expression. It means that it sometimes happens that a banknote slips through his fingers. It doesn't mean physically that this happened, but that sometimes for people who are advanced in their financial education or financial literacy, sometimes they lose their money, but it's only occasionally. It's not something systematic, and it's not a big problem. So this is also what we can look for, what we can observe, is the use of metaphors. The second level is level of sentence. We can look at sentences. Sentences are already some arguments. It's not just words, it's not just metaphors, but in sentences we use or the author of the text used arguments. And so we can look what argumentation is there. For example, has discovered the first steps of the financial world, that it's argument about that in using finances, in using money, we discover something, that it's not that we use it simply to exchange, but when using money, we are doing some kind of exploration of financial world. And this is a strong argument. It's money are not for simply buying something or selling something for the exchange, but money is, we should think, is an opportunity to invest, to explore opportunities, to be more than just a mechanical exchanger, but to be more like person who want to know more about possibilities for profit. And this is the argument in has discovered the first steps of the financial world. It's not explicitly said in this sentence, but it's this argument is implicit, that discovered the first steps of the financial world, that people when going to the finances or to the market, they are like explorators that explore unknown world, and they discover also traps, but also opportunities. This is risk, and also opportunities how to be profitable, or how to do profitable actions. On the level of sentences, we can also focus on we say triplets of agent, action, and object. So the sentence has discovered the first steps of the financial world. We can see that there is a person which is not mentioned, but the person, the agent, has discovered. So this is an action, and what traps of financial world. We can look at who is the agent in all these, or in all the text. If the agent is same, if agent is male or female or unknown gender, we may focus on actions. So the first action is has mastered, he discovered, has tamed, has under control. So first is mastering, discovery, taming, and under control. And these are also arguments about the actions, about the activities they contained in the text. Also, we can focus on complexity of sentence. If it's rather simple sentences or long complex sentences, this seems to be simple sentences, simple phrases. In some scholarly books, philosophical books, we can find very complex long sentences. And the third level is a level of discourse, which is not highlighted by color, because discourse is not bind to words or particular sentences, but is manifested through the whole text. And on the level of discourse, we can see here, for example, that the learning of financial literacy or acquiring financial literacy is like learning a language. That at the beginning we are, or when we start to learn about finances, we are like a beginners as in learning language, and we become advanced, and at the end we are expert. So there is a path. It's not about that we are, for example, if we have IQ levels, so there is no beginner that has a low IQ level. It's just say this person has a level of IQ at 100, and the second person has lower or higher. But here you can see a path from a beginner to the expert. So financial literacy is not about that we are on some level for good, that we should improve all the time. You should want to become an expert at the end. So this is about, for example, discourse of financial literacy. We can analyze it, and we can say that discourse of financial literacy assumes people are improving all the time, or people should improve in their competence, financial competence. So this was an example of what we can look for in a text when we focus on text, and before when we focus on the readers. And I will talk about it today. So about readers and about text, there are two analytical approaches to text. First, we can approach it that we analyze reading, as I did in the first slide. So we focus on the reader's cooperation with the text. Cooperation is that it's not like passively that if we are when we read, we are active, we cooperate with text, we look at the text and we found something there, some letters, meanings, words, and we generate a hypothesis, what is written in a text, and we continue reading or we reread it, and we modify sometimes our hypothesis, what is written in a text, and we continue. So it is not just one way action, it's a cooperation. We take something from the material embodiment, we create a text, we verify it again, and so it's rather cooperation than just reading, one-way reading. So there are reading and textual strategies. Textual strategies are strategies that authors use to generate a specific reading. I can use some metaphor in my text to make reader thinking about specific things, which cannot be achieved by using plain words. And we will deal with it in following minutes. And this is the one approach that is called text reception analysis. It's not sometimes only reception analysis. It's about how people receive text. But as I said, it's not only passive reception, it's rather cooperation. It's also active from the part of the reader. And the second analytical approach is a textual analysis that is focused on text themselves. And I showed you that there are three levels: lexical level, level of sentence, and suprasentential level of discourse. And we will talk about textual analysis in the next class. Today I will focus on the reception analysis, on the reader's cooperation. As you may remember from the last class, the role of the reader is key, because it's the reader who assigns textuality to an object. What is text? You may remember this picture. What is a text on this wall? It's a reader who decides, or the reader who decides. What are intertextual, transtextual, or contextual relations? It's also up to the reader. If rapist and against society is one text, or text that somehow interact. If against society is related to rapist and rapist is related to weaponry, if it's like one whole text consisting from three parts, or is this three independent texts that are on the wall. So it's up to every time. It's up to the reader to decide, to assign or to decide if it's one text or two texts or three texts. This is the intertextual, transtextual, and contextual relations, and also it is the reader who generates the meaning of a text. What does it mean? It's not in a text. Text it's only potential. It's something that we can abstract the verbal content from it. So again, society, we can remember the content, verbal content, and I can say again society to you. So an abstraction, and I repeat it to you. But what is the meaning of it? It's really constructed. It's constructed by me as a reader of what is written here, and by you if you hear again society. So you can think, what does it mean in this context? So the role of the reader is crucial. And Umberto Eco, you may know him as a semiotician. He distinguished two kinds of reading or cooperation with text: operative and cooperative reading. And this distinction is based on an amount of competencies which requires from the reader. If we think, or if we focus only on linguistic competence. Linguistic competence means that we know grammar and vocabulary of some language. The reader acts as an operator. So, for example, in a sentence, my name is Jessica. If we read it just grammatically and we know meaning of words, my name is Jessica, we can say that the meaning of it, the content is that somebody is the speaker's name is Jessica. This is the content. We should know the word name, what the word name means. My, that it's a personal pronoun, it relates to the speaker, and that Jessica is a name, it's a personal name. So if we know this is lexicon, so meaning of words, and we know grammar, you know that my name grammatically is that it relates to the name of the speaker. So we can actualize a lexical surface of the text. It means we can read it and we can generate meaning of it. My name is Jessica. The speaker's name is Jessica. This is when reader acts as an operator. It's operative reading. Just using knowledge of words, knowledge of grammar, and producing the meaning of the text. I like my dog. It's the same. We should know that I is a personal pronoun. We should know what does the word like mean. We should know what dog means. That it's a kind of animal. And that it's also personal pronoun, possessive pronoun. It's different from I. So I like my dog. You can say this is the meaning of this sentence is that the speaker is saying that he has some emotional relationship to a dog, or to the dog he owns. This is the meaning of it, and it's on the level of operator. We don't need to know anything more than grammar and lexicon. If it's written in any other language, we know grammar and lexicon. We can read it and we can generate the meaning. This is the one kind of reading. The second kind of reading is called cooperative reading by Eco. Eco is labeling it as cooperative reading, and the linguistic competence is only one part of it. We need to act as a cooperator when reading a text. We must be also competent in coreferential and encyclopedic relationships. What does it mean? There is a sentence, I hope. Okay. We should take Peter to zoo. Yeah. You understand it? in some way. I don't want to say it now, before we read the second word. We should take the lion to the zoo. On the level of operative reading, these two sentences are almost same. We speakers should, it's a normative, what we should do, take someone, something, Peter or the lion, to the zoo, to some place where animals are captured and observed by public. But if if we have a co-referential competence, we know that Peter is probably someone, some person, some human, and that in this sentence is about taking someone we know, some person we know, to the zoo for entertainment or for education or for whatever, to spend Sunday or holiday. While in the second, we know that this is not the same case, because we are taking the lion to the zoo to be captured there and to be observed there. It's not that lion is going to zoo with us to look at, to watch wildlife in the zoo, but it's to be kept there as an object or as an animal to be observed by the humans. So this is co-referential inference or co-referential inference that we do from the sentence, and we need this co-referential competence to understand it, to read it, and to generate meaning. Co-referential is that the reference is not only to when we read we should take Peter to zoo. The reference is not only what the words mean in their what meaning we can find in dictionary, but also what does it mean in social context. So co-referential, it means that we make a reference to social context that is not included in the sentence itself, in the text itself. So it's co-referential. The text is referring to something, but we as readers take the text and make also some references, or we trying to discover references that go outside the text, that go to social context, which is clear that if we compare these two sentences, that in case of Peter, we make inference that Peter is human. That's why it will be like taking Peter, for example, a child, and to go to the zoo to look at animals. While in the second sentence, we are thinking about capturing lion that has escaped from the zoo, and we have to capture it and to get it back to his cage. These are co-referential inferences. And sometimes, I would say many times, we need also encyclopedic competence. You remember this poem, The Anxious Prince? Be or not to be, be or not to be, or not to. And to understand it as a text and to generate meaning, the poetic meaning of this text, we have to know about Hamlet, about the phrase to be or not to be. And this is our encyclopedic competence. That is knowledge that we have, encyclopedia that we have in our head, so we can relate this text to Shakespearean dramatic piece of Hamlet and to the famous sentence, to be or not to be. And after relating it to this knowledge, we can understand the poem The Anxious Prince. So to act as a cooperator, we need not only linguistic competence. It means not only it's not enough to know grammatical rules and vocabulary to be able to actualize the meaning of a text, but we need also coreferential. It means we should be able to relate it to some social context, appropriate, suitable social context, and encyclopedic competencies. Encyclopedic means related to the stock of knowledge about the world, about culture, about the world we live in, or about the world the text is referring to. Of course, there are some texts that are referring to the past or to future. So we should know about the past, about the future, and this knowledge is encyclopedic competence. To recapitulate, we have two kinds of reading. First, reader can act as an operator, just going on the surface of a text, looking for words and the relationship, and generating a meaning, a content of it, which is, I think, possible for machines to do it. Machines can read as operators. But there is also the second type of reading, which is cooperative, and this is typically human. And for this cooperative reading, we need not only linguistic but also coreferential and encyclopedic competencies. And ECO established also another term, another notion of model reader, or assumed reader, but model reader is his term. And model reader is the reader who actualizes the meaning of everything that the textual strategy or the author's textual strategy intends to say. A model reader is able to read exactly in a way how the author wants or wanted to him or her to read the text. For example, if somebody say, we should take the lion to the zoo, the model reader of this sentence, or hearer, it's not only reader that reads it, but also hearers, and to understand if somebody is saying me, we should take the lion to the zoo. So me as a model reader should understand this sentence as what action we have to do to get the lion to the zoo. So my answer, if I am a model reader, my answer would be yes. And how we transport the lion to the zoo? What kind of transport we use to get the lion to the zoo? So if I am a model reader, I understand correctly the sentence. I actualize everything that author, which was another person, intended to say, and I answer because I understood it. And if I am not a model reader, so I would ask, why Why should we take the lion to the zoo? It's no problem. The lion can walk on the street. It's not our problem. So this is that is understanding. I understood the sentence, but I'm not understood all what was included in the sentence. Because in the sentence, what was included is that lion should not walk freely in the street of the city. So a model reader is someone who put himself or herself to the the best is how Eco wrote it, that model reader actualizes the meaning of everything that the textual strategy of the author intends to say. That he reads it in a model way, in a best way. The question for us as analysts is, should we be model readers of all text we analyze? If we analyze some political text, should we read it as authors wanted the readers to read it? Or can we make our own reading and to say that the text that we understand the text differently than the author intended to communicate? And this is a big question, because for some people it is misinterpretation. If we analytically read the text as we want, for example, that we show that the text is demagogical, it's demagogy, or there is some rhetorical strategies that tries to convince readers or listeners to become a member of a party or whatever. That this is a disinterpretation, because it's not set in a text. So this is a question, and we can discuss it in the class. It's not easy to solve. And Eco himself, he tried to solve this question in his book on interpretation and overinterpretation. That sometimes we overinterpret the text we analyze, that we put something more than it's in this text. So interpretation is not only the operative reading. It's not only just looking for words and grammar. It's cooperative. We also use our referential and encyclopedic competencies, but we should not add something more to the text we analyze. We should not overinterpret it. We should not put into it something that is not in it. And where is the border of interpretation, and when overinterpretation starts, the border is blurred, of course. There is no clear-cut line between interpretation and overinterpretation. And textual analysis always struggles with these lines of interpretation and overinterpretation. Sometimes even underinterpretation, that we cannot understand fully the text, that we just take it too simply, not to interpret it in its full meaning. So we can say that there are three possibilities: underinterpretation, which we just read it operatively, so that for us would be the first and the second sentence, that we should take Peter to the zoo and we should take the lion to the zoo. that it's undiscriminately understood as the same. Only Peter is another object than lion. Interpretation is that we understand it correctly as model readers, and over-interpretation is to looking for something that is not there. That, for example, that it's like initiation of discussion, or initiation of. It's not that the author was not saying that we should do something, but that the real meaning of the sentence was to provoke discussion, provoke conflict between the two persons. This could be over-interpretation, that we are looking for more than there is. But sometimes it could be true. Sometimes a sentence is not intended to inform, but the sentence is intended to provoke. Well, and I have two examples of people who, beside Umberto Eco, Tony Bennett and Stuart Hall, were two scholars who developed the idea independently, developed the idea of cooperative reading and the strategies related to cooperative reading. And Tony Bennett discovered that there are some texts that organize reading of other texts, that they are like tools that or glasses that they help us or prevent us from understanding other texts, or to become model reader for particular text. We can have examples of these. He calls these texts, these particular text or special text, specific text, as meta text. But because we talk about meta text in the last class in different context, I didn't put the word meta text here. But these are these special texts, and we can have example on the micro level and macro level. On micro level, what is typical text that helps readers to understand or to become model reader is the preface. When we have a book and there is a preface, and in preface the author says how to read the book. That this book is about for example, this book is about my experience. I wrote it when I was very happy in my life, and I was full of happiness, and I said I have to share this happy experience with other people. So I describe it, how I did these things and which made me happy, etc. So the preface like target the reader to in the right direction, how to read it, how to become a model reader. So to understand all what the author wanted to, or all that the author put into the text. Preambles are similar to prefaces or introductions in scholarly books. There are all frequently introduction, and in an introduction we introduce readers to the topic and to explain what for example, what paradigm we use in our analysis, and what is the authors we use to, or what theories we use to explain some phenomenon, etc. Commentaries, manifests. So these are like short texts that help us to understand other texts, or in a way of modern reader, as modern readers. On the macro level, there are some texts that organize our readings of our text. For example, Marxist texts. If we read enough of Marxist text, then we accept ideas that are in Marxist text. So we understand them and we accept what they say. After we read all text as an expression of dominant class, of a kind of ideology, or we look for ideology or for class conflict. I remember, because I was educated on my elementary school and in secondary school, even till the end of secondary school. Even at first year of university, I lived in state socialism, where the Marx-Leninist ideology was the dominant ideology, only legitimate ideology, and I was learned that every expression of culture is expression of classes, social classes, and in socialist countries, this expression is harmonic, and in capitalist countries, the expression of any cultural expression, any text, is result of class struggle, and mostly texts in capitalist societies are promoting the ideology of ruling class. So if I encountered any, or what, as a modern reader, reading a capitalist, or I don't know, French or British or German newspapers, I should read it as an ideology of ruling class in these ruling capitalist class in these countries, not as expression of some indiscriminate authors who are writing about some topic, but as an expression of a ruling class. So this is how Marxist text organize reading of our text, that we should look at any text as an expression of class interest, not as free expression of individual, of group interest or aesthetic values, but it's only class interest, and that is how we should read it. The similar is with psychoanalysis. When we learn psychoanalysis, we read all texts as a kind of symbols of unconsciousness, how the unconscious influence of conscious, and especially we look for the repression of sexuality, or sublimation of sexuality, or expression of the controlled expression of sexuality in it. So when we read a text of somebody, we ask question all the time of reading, how the suppressed sexuality of this person transpires from the text. And there are also other examples as elementary school textbooks that teach us what is the world about and how we should understand it. Conspiracy text. When we in conspiracy text, we learn how to read the other texts as in a way that they are either the true text or the fake text. The conspiracy texts say that most of text around us are fake, just not true, because they are hiding something, and there are only some particular texts that are true text. We can believe them. So this is Tony Bennett with his text that organize reading of other text. And the second person I would like to talk is Stuart Hall. He was a Marxist, British Marxist, and that's why he said that reading strategies are relative to the social context of the reader's position. It depends on a social class, of the reader, how the reader interprets the text he encounters or he reads. So he applied the Marxist vision of culture, I can say, and he distinguished three types of reading depending on the class position. Dominant reading is that the reader accepts the socially preferred mode of reading. So dominant reading is the reading that we are model readers, that we read it as we should read it in what is pretended to be the correct type of reading. I will explain it in examples after I go through all three types. So dominant reading is that we read it how it should be read how it should be read. Negotiated reading is that the reader accepts in part the preferred mode, but in part reads it alternatively. Negotiated, it means that there are something that we accept as it is written and something we don't want to accept, so we negotiate it. And oppositional reading is that the reader refuse to read the text in dominant mode or in negotiated mode, and he or she takes a contrary position toward it. Oppositional reading is that we don't take it at all what is written. And I have some examples. The first example is the evaluation of the quiz, as I showed at the beginning of the class, that we receive some score in the quiz. And for example, we are in the level of advanced and we read it as time, the budget, understand. So dominant reading would be, yes, I'm quite good, but I should improve my financial literacy because I'm just advanced and I should be an expert, because sometimes a banknote slips through my fingers. So I'm not as good as I should be. If I would get more money, if I would be richer than I am now, I should learn more about finances. This is dominant mode. Negotiated mode would be, yes, they say that I'm just advanced, but I don't think that this is the entirely correct, because I have also, my feeling is that I have my personal finances securely under control. There is nobody perfect. So it just sometimes happens that a banknote slips through my fingers. It also happens to expert. It's not specific for advanced. It's for everybody. And beginner, yes, I can locate myself in this advanced level, but I'm not sure if this scale is really true, because sometimes I still discover traps of the financial world. I think that I have my personal finances securely under control. So yes, it's just for the first thought, it's good, but it's not entirely correct. And the opposition reading would be, it's strange. Yes, has time the budget and understand the world of finance? What does it mean? I wanted to be like encouraged and not this way. I don't take it. No. It was lost time to do this quiz because it doesn't make sense. I don't understand it. So this could be 3 types of cooperation, 3 types of reading. And in this example, this is an ad and to a soap, and we can read it. Yes, wow, this soap. I should buy it. It's good. It's helping mothers to do their jobs, and also the young girls. This is the dominant reading. The negotiated it's not very clever advertisement. It's a bit of stereotypes and there is no idea in it, but well, it's enough for standard soap advertisement. And the oppositional reading would be, it's awful. It's so like saying that the role of women or the role of women is just to clean the job. Their job is to clean the house. It is so sexist or just stupid. I would punish these companies for doing these types of advertisement. And the third example is this: 5 easy steps to self-healing in 5 minutes. 5 minutes for somebody for dominant reading. Wow. Well, I feel bad, so I feel sick. So let's read it and to learn how to heal myself. The negotiated reading. Yes, these easy steps are always misleading, but maybe this one will help me in some way. And the oppositional reading would be, never read about 5 easy steps to do something, because in 5 minutes to do something like self-healing, because it cannot work. It's impossible that it's work. And self-healing, fine, but you must learn it for years to be able to self-heal, not just in 5 minutes. These were examples on how to use these categories: dominant, negotiated, opposition reading. Of course, I didn't do the analysis, or I didn't elaborate more. The analysis, it was to show you what are these different types, what are differences between dominant, negotiated, and opposition reading. And your homework will be also about it. So, first read introduction in Eco's book, The Role of the Reader, or try to read as much as you can. It's not easy. Eco's novels are easier to read than his books, his academic books, but try to read as much as you can. And after, write a short commentary on the first 2 pages of the text Deconstruction Foucault, Subtextual Capitalist Theory, Post-Cultural Socialism and Feminism by Paul Prinn. And what you should focus on is first cohesion and coherence. So observe when you read the text, it's just 2 pages, nothing more. The first 2 pages from an article. And focus if you find it cohesive and if you find it coherent. These are 2 important features that readers want to find in text. And next, after you read it, describe shortly your reader's experience. Because as you may see from as you see from the title, it's like something very intellectual and very complicated, but it's from regular journal. So try to understand it. Try to understand it, of course, and after try to share your reader's experience with this text. And the second task is after reading the whole paper on encoding decoding, where he explains dominant, negotiated, and oppositional reading. Go to the Cosmopolitan article Life's Very Simple Pleasures. Follow this link, and it's a short article about life's very simple pleasures, and try to imagine and write what would be the dominant, negotiated, and oppositional reading of the article. So this is your homework. The paper you can download for the first or all readings and all materials you can download when you go to the module of the assignment of the class, and there is assignment, and in the assignment you can download all the material. If anything's unclear, just email me, and we will discuss this homework in the next class. Thank you for your attention.